It sparkles and it glitters. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. This slogan is familiar, but it could soon be changed, because what glitters here is osmium. Like gold, silver, or platinum, osmium is a precious metal and is increasingly used in jewelry making. Scarlett, the vice director of the German Osmium Institute, sees the following reasons for this.
Crystalline osmium is gaining popularity in the jewelry market, particularly among younger and more forward-thinking individuals. It is seen as the innovative addition that the jewelry industry looked for in recent years but just didn't get. Now there's the rarest non-radioactive element in the world. That it's a beautiful precious metal that can't be counterfeited is being very, very well received.
In 2014, osmium was the last of the 8 precious metals to be introduced on the world market for trading. Since then, it has risen sharply in price. It was initially only available as an investment metal, but currently more and more jewelers are adding osmium jewelry to their collections.
There are 2 clear instances where osmium can perform very well. In diamond jewelry, there is something called a pavé. A pavé is composed of many fractions of a carat, many small diamonds, and it is a very expensive surface that sparkles as a whole. But the value is not in the material, but in the work required to complete the setting of all these little pieces. When you take the materials themselves out, they are worth almost nothing. With crystalline osmium, you can create a very similar surface that sparkles as much or even more than diamonds. But in this case, the value is intrinsic. It's the high value of the precious material itself, which is undeniably appealing. Especially nowadays when people say, okay, I'd like to combine my jewelry with a tangible asset, the idea resonates strongly.
Designers and goldsmiths also value osmium for its ability to produce nearly flawless surfaces, providing them with complete creative freedom in shaping their designs.
And this is something which you can't do with a pavé. For instance, consider a sharply pointed logo that narrows towards the end. With traditional stones, there will always be one stone or diamond at the tip, preventing the creation of precise, acute angles. In contrast, we can achieve this level of precision with osmium cutting, enabling us to craft the finest logos, shapes, and the corresponding surfaces that stones can't replicate.
The new headquarters of the Osmium Institute is being built in the Bavarian town of Murnau am Staffelsee, about 70 kilometers south of Munich. Ingo Wolf is the scientific director of now 40 branches of the Osmium Institute on 5 different continents. He is in charge of laboratory analysis and supervises the Osmium World Database. Every single osmium product is registered on this platform.
And this database must always be perfect. And that is what the Osmium Institute stands for. If osmium were to be lost, for example, or stolen, or reappear on the market, or if a certificate was issued incorrectly, then we, the Institute, would be at fault and would have to pay for it with our assets. That's why we work very meticulously.
The extraction of osmium requires extremely precise work and begins in platinum mines located in regions such as Australia, South Africa, or the Urals. Initially, any non-platinum impurities, osmium being one of them, are dissolved from the ore. Crude osmium is then transported to Switzerland in the form of a gray powder. A meticulous process of crystallization is then carried out, a notably hazardous process.
Osmium crystallization was developed over 40 years ago, and only one company has managed it. The process is dangerous in a laboratory setting due to the toxicity of the substances contained within the closed circuit. It involves high pressures and temperatures that must be meticulously controlled. This means that within the laboratory environment, there's not only a need to protect against theft of precious metals, but also to manage a highly hazardous procedure.
Once osmium is readily available in its standardized crystalline form, the refined metal is shipped to Germany. There it is cut by wire erosion into bars and inlays, and then scanned and certified by Wolf and his team in Murnau. Investors in kind now have the opportunity to purchase the finished crystalline osmium.
There are some standard shapes, such as discs and bars at no extra charge. Then cut shapes, such as small diamonds and stars.
The price is therefore determined by quantity and size. In both the jewelry and investment markets, it begins with modest investments, sometimes as low as €100. The price of a traditional engagement ring adorned with crystalline osmium, for example, typically starts at around €1,000.
And then there are what I would almost call lighthouse projects, like the Osmium violin, for example. It comes with an asking price of 3.5 million euros and features over 500 unique osmium elements handcrafted in Austria. Likewise, the world's most precious headphones have also integrated osmium. Now there's also someone looking to put osmium on motorcycle helmets for the first time. There are no limits to the luxury thoughts and accordingly, of course, to the prices.
First of all, osmium is incredibly rare. And I mean really incredibly rare. 1,500 times rarer than gold. You have about 17 to 55 cubic meters of osmium in the Earth's crust, and yet only about 1 cubic meter of that is expected to be extractable. You don't have more than 22 tons of osmium available at all. That means we are dealing with a very, very narrow market here.
Every year, leading osmium experts meet at the IPMI and at the Osmium Symposia, organized by the Osmium World Council, to calculate when the raw material, crude osmium, will run out. Ingo Wolf estimates that this event could occur in just 10 to 15 years. In America, this moment has been nicknamed the Osmium Big Bang. The consequence would probably be a massive price increase.
Because you have a powerful effect when something runs out entirely. The crystalline osmium created from raw osmium has a secondary market. It actually goes into the vault with the real investors and stays there for 10 to 15 years. That's why they call it next generation metal.
In other words, this means that tangible asset investors acquire the precious metal for the next generation, their children, for example. Piece by piece, osmium is slowly moving over to the jewelry market.
And then it becomes less. This is called a thin out. Then you might have a very strong price effect again when it reaches zero, because there is simply nothing left. But the interesting thing is this. All of the metals go back into the real asset market, but you don't recycle osmium.
For while gold and silver jewelry can be melted down and reintroduced into the tangible asset market quite easily, such a process for osmium would be prohibitively expensive.
That is why osmium will not go back to the tangible asset market from the jewelry market. This means we have a thin out. The curve goes down, down, down. And once it's at zero, then we have the second possible price effect that one could experience. And it will probably be very significant, because osmium is the first precious metal to run out completely.
Another critical aspect to consider with osmium is its scarcity in its raw form, while carbon, required for cost-effective diamond production, is abundantly available. According to the Osmium Institute, it is unlikely that osmium will experience a price decline similar to that seen in the gemstone market. Approximately 1,500 partners worldwide are actively contributing to the globalization of the osmium market. Currently, Scarlett is playing a pivotal role as a liaison between these institutes, the investment sector, and jewelers, accelerating and simplifying the journey from raw material to the final jewelry piece.
The new markets are coming up right now in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, so the Emirates. South Korea's market is on the rise. In China, we have just opened our first branch, the Osmium Institute in China. When these markets jump in, we are simply talking about a completely different price and market development. And that is, of course, where the real price development will be really exciting.
Simultaneously, construction is underway at the German headquarters for the inaugural European sales and showroom, serving as the flagship store for crystalline osmium and its associated products. Furthermore, a public access glass laboratory is being established. In Murnau, one can anticipate a future with a little more sparkle. And maybe one might soon hear, osmium is a girl's best friend.